Now, with a lot of Star Wars projects on the horizon like Mando Season 4, Ahsoka Tano Season 1 and 2 that's also in the works, we have a handful of others that will be announced, by the way, at D23, which takes place this September. They're gonna really give us the full slate of Star Wars shows and movies. At the same exact time, we have Indy 5 that's currently still in the works at last minute. We have Kathleen Kennedy and James Mangold working on the final touches to the overall ending of the actual movie. And what's interesting about this is that we know that there's a lot of things going into this film that a lot of fans are not going to agree with. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. And without further ado, let's get right into the subject. Now, what's really exciting about everything related to Indy 5 is the fact that we have, of course, the opportunity here for Kathleen Kennedy to leave Lucasfilm if it really gets that bad of a reception by the fans and by the common moviegoers. That, I believe, is the only plus and exciting element coming out of Indiana Jones 5. The only thing I'm very skeptical about, and I've said this several times before, is what does Disney really consider bad when it comes to the statistics of the box office results? What are they really going to consider bad? And on top of that also, what are they really going to consider the fans? Are they going to look at the common moviegoers, or are they going to look at the actual Indiana Jones fan base, right? So moving to the next big thing here involves George Lucas himself. Now with Indy 5, the Dial of Destiny, now just under 30 days away from its release, Bob Iger and the Disney executives are growing very concerned over the performance of this movie. Now, one of the big developments, however, is that creator George Lucas is reportedly furious over the ending of Indy 5 and how it was not a proper send-off to the Indiana Jones franchise as far as the main films go. This is the main reason why George refused to take part in interviews and even arrive at the Cannes Film Festival premiere for Indy 5, similar to how he was absent for the Rise of Skywalker world premiere due to his growing grudge with Kathleen Kennedy. Now, Lucas considered the ending of the film underwhelming and lacking the magic and thrill of the Indiana Jones brand. The main reasoning behind Lucas's frustration with the ending of Indy 5 is all connected and rooted to how it focuses more on Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character Helena rather than Indy himself. Now let me pause here quick. This is not a big surprise at all in the least. We know that George specifically wanted to exclude himself from the Episode 9 world premiere because he had a lot of problems with Kathleen Kennedy. He actually hated the movie and how it turned out to be, and how they also deleted many of the scenes that they had worked on. So Lucas had actually helped out with the J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio on various scenes actually involving Palpatine, Ben Solo, and yes, even the Dark Acolyte in the actual Episode 9 film that got deleted. Now, moving to the next big thing here, we know also the reason why George did not take part in any interviews over at Cannes Film Festival is because he wanted nothing to do with that. He wanted nothing to do with promoting this movie or even talking positively about it on camera. And once again, this is a prime example of Kathleen Kennedy really just interfering with a major franchise as big as Indiana Jones. They could have done something amazing here, but it turns out that not only are they lacking the marketing skills of this movie, but they are also lacking the proper storytelling because they're focusing on Phoebe Waller-Bridge and her character Helena way too much. Alright, this is also the main reason why a lot of the critics over at Cannes Film Festival came out saying that the thrill is gone, the magic is non-existent. So moving on to the next thing here is this. Now, with Kathleen Kennedy and James Mangold already editing the final ending to which 4 were filmed and created, the final one focuses more so on Helena in the spotlight, where Jones is more or less of a shadow as they send the character off. This would indicate that though thankfully Dr. Jones will not die, however there is said to be a large level of disrespect to the character during the final scene that will leave fans feeling like they were shortchanged. The dialogue during the ending, Lucas described as needing much work and better delivery. This would match up with what James Mangold said, that Lucas didn't really want to oversee any more of that movie since he had disagreed with their approach for this film. Mangold also recently unveiled that Lucas wasn't really invited on the set from Kathy for specific reasons, as they felt Lucas's presence would only encourage a different direction for people involved in the film. Now look, here is the other big problem that comes out of all of this, is that Kathleen Kennedy literally refused George Lucas to come on set for the most part of Indiana Jones 5. The same exact thing applied to Star Wars The Acolyte and Skeleton Crew. George was basically not allowed on set, and that just goes to show you that she's that, I guess you could say, worried about the turnout of these projects, to the point where she just does not want George Lucas's overall outlook being passed around the cast and the crew, is basically what her problem is. This is another prime example, by the way, of Kathleen Kennedy not respecting the creator, not respecting for the very person that made this entire franchise possible, one of which, by the way, and we also know that everything related to James Mangold is that he was pushed into a position where he is really dealing with a lot of problems right now for his time over at Lucasfilm. There's already a lot of Disney executives calling for Mangold's removal from Dawn of the Jedi, since they don't want them to have that guy, becoming a part of Star Wars if Indy 5 is truly going to fail at this level. So look, I'm never trying to be a pessimistic person or a negative person. I'm just very, very upset about where things are heading for the Dial of Destiny. And it's just unfortunate that we live in a day and age where Hollywood loves to strip down these franchises, especially someone like Kathleen Kennedy is like the queen of doing all of this. Now, there are a number of examples of a pushback, very slowly but surely, where Hollywood is beginning to realize that they gotta do more things like Top Gun Maverick, or the Mario Brothers movie, the Sonic movie, or even Mission Impossible. Things like that are gonna have a very good turnout, a very good box office, result. And that's exactly why, because they have passionate creators that love their work, they love the art of filmmaking, and that's that. What Kathleen Kennedy is that she's an artist of disaster. I always call her the disaster artist, off of that movie itself that's based on Tommy Wiseau. Go ahead and check it out. That's how I coined the term for Kathleen Kennedy there, because that's how I see her. I feel like she believes in what she's making, but she's not realizing that it's literally bad. It's not working for the fan base, and it's not really going as planned. And so I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens with Indy 5 on June 30th, when it arrives in the States, when it becomes, very well known, and where the reviews start coming out. I'm going to find it to be very intriguing to see what James Mangold is going to say about the backlash, if there is going to be a big one. I'm betting that there might be, and what Kathleen Kennedy is going to have to say as well, because so far, it's not looking good, and it's looking like the next Last Jedi. Anyways, guys, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
Night to moon,